Hyper Light Drifter is a top-down hack-and-slash game that follows a mysterious unnamed protagonist suffering from a mysterious illness, searching for mysterious triangles that will do something to this mysterious platform. To be honest, I don't have a damn clue what happened in this game, except that there was a bird person who sold me some bombs. From the hub village, there are 4 unique areas to explore, where you are required to find these triangle thingies to open the way to the boss, which is guarding an obelisk tower thing that you need to activate. Each area has a very distinct color scheme and some minor backstory. There aren't any puzzles, and there's very little in the way of obstacles. Instead, the game focuses on combat for its challenge, and the combat is very good. You can whack enemies with your sword or shoot them with one of the various guns you find. You can also use short dashes to avoid enemy attacks or just to get around a little faster. Striking enemies or objects in the environment will recharge your gun's ammo. It's very simple but extremely solid, and the enemies are well designed and offer a good challenge. Enemies don't flinch from your attacks, so even when attacking, you need to be conscious of what the enemy you're hitting is doing, as well as any enemies around you. Most enemies will lunge at you or shoot at you, and you need to keep moving to stay safe as you can't afford to take many hits. The game layers on the challenge by making a lot of situations with a lot of enemies to keep track of. Swarming enemies can make quick work of you if you aren't careful, and just running in and hacking away blindly is a surefire way to get your ass kicked. Combat is fun, challenging, and fast-paced. My only problem with it is that some hit areas for enemy attacks are a bit unclear, and it makes them unduly tricky to dodge. There are some special abilities you can purchase using the, squares you find by exploring the game world, as well as upgrades to the ammo capacity of your guns. A lunge attack, a charge-up swipe, plus some defensive stuff like being able to dash through enemy shots without taking damage. They can be useful, and they're cool rewards, but they don't change much about how you approach the game, and their usage is very limited. I will say that the chain dash thing is really frustratingly difficult to get the hang of, but you only actually need it for a handful of secrets. The game uses a limited palette of vibrant colors and a pixelated art style that gives the game a look similar to Out of This World, with maybe a hint of Fez. Speaking of which, there are some special secret tablets you can find that display a conspicuously familiar type of font. Let's just say a few things about this game smell a bit fishy. Please laugh at that joke, it took me a long time to come up with. There's no real dialogue in Hyper Light Drifter. NPCs talk to you in pictures and indecipherable chirps. Even with these images though, exactly what happened in Hyper Light Drifter's world, what your quest actually is, or who the player even is, are all left up to interpretation. There are lots of little set pieces that give you tiny bits of information scattered across the areas, but the game stops far short of giving you any concrete indication of what the hell is actually going on. It seems to be made with the intention for people far smarter and more patient than myself to cipher through all the shreds of information the game shows you and weave from them a narrative that actually means something to the casual observer. And they can have fun with that. I'm just gonna keep looking at the pretty pictures. I think I still have neck strain from trying to translate things in Fez. Hyper Light Drifter is definitely one of those games that I have a hard time coming up with things to say about. I like it. I like it quite a lot, actually. It knows how to take simple mechanics and turn them into something fun, and I appreciate that. It's also nice to see a relatively high-profile release like this one that uses Game Maker. I mean, the only other published games that used it that I know of are Risk of Rain and Undertale. And everything Undertale is aside, it's not really involved enough for its engine to seem very relevant. And Risk of Rain sucked. My point is, it's nice to have something like this that shows the professional viability of the more accessible development tools. Kind of like when you find games made in Unity that are actually good. Or working. My score for Hyper Light Drifter is a 4 out of 4, mostly because I don't think I can come up with any real criticism for it. It has a cool, distinct art style, an interesting creative world, and fun, challenging combat. Like I said, the collision is a bit unclear in some cases, but it never really got in the way of my enjoyment of the game. I highly recommend giving it a try, though keep in mind that it is very short. My first playthrough took only about 4 hours, and that was with a significant amount of failure. Yeah, sometimes it's hard for me to come up with stuff to say about games I actually like. Maybe that reflects on me as a person somehow. Anyway, thanks for watching. Subscribe for more shamelessly uncritical reviews of pretentious indie games, as well as cynical, poorly reasoned diatribes against AAA games.